and say there's not going to be any rain and it stopped, what can you do? That was a prophetic language. Amen? Let me say this too, because I think it'll make this teaching easier to understand. Those who live in heaven speak this language. Because why is it that some of us could speak a word and it happened, and you could speak the word and nothing happens? It's because where you're abiding. Everybody was here when we, the last meeting we had, and the word was given to Terry. And the handkerchief was put over her head, remember? She went home. I'm sure you guys all saw the praise report. Her husband passed that dot test. Right? He's able to go back to work. Income will be back in the home. She said her whole household turned around. Woo! That's simple. Right? All right.
Excited.
So if it happened that simple, it was a prophetic word. Right? So shouldn't everyone in this room have the ability to speak prophetic words?
Yes.
Right? Come on. Amen? Yes. Because that power is in us. He lives in us. Right? We speak nothing but the word. Yes. So it's a prophetic language. Amen? But if we're not living in that heavenly realm daily, because we talked about this, I think, earlier. Everybody's important to you. You have to be famous. You got to be with your family. You got to be with your friends. You got to be everywhere. Hoopla, right? You got to just everywhere. So most of your time is spent everywhere, and really minimal time with the King. So you're not really abiding in heaven. So then you're not speaking His language. You're speaking the language of the world. So when you go to pray, you're praying under the unction of the world. You're not praying under the unction of heaven. Does that make sense? Yeah, because you've seen people, you could go to a meeting. We go to some meetings because they're big prophets or whoever, right? And they call you out and they give you a word and oh my God, your whole life changes, right? Well, why were they able to release that to you and you were not able to release it to yourself? There should be no difference, right? Because that language is available, but it's where you camp out, it's where you live, is the language that you speak. Look, I told you don't plead the blood, because pleading meant begging. Then I'm gonna tell you today, don't cover yourself with blood. Then you're gonna lose your mind. Because then what are we gonna do? Just the blood is there, guys. The reason I say that is because when something happens and they say take cover, what do? Hold to the ground and hide, but that's temporary. Covering is temporary. It does never stay. Right? So if I'm covering myself, it's temporary, so I got to do it every day. Cover myself. I'd rather just live in it and abide in it. Every day I don't wake up and say, I'm a woman. I just am. Right? Some of you have a hard time being a grandma, so you want to be a glam mom. I haven't heard of that. That's not even biblical. A glam mom. I don't know who made that up, but a little nutty. But it doesn't matter. But the whole point is, I paid the price to be a grandma. And now I'm a great grandma. Jesus, it's amazing. I actually graduated. Now I'm a great one. Imagine, somebody made fun of me because I was grad. Now I'm great. Gotta tell that brother now. Now I'm a great grandma. Think about it. But there's a price to pay for that great grandma. Because you babysit when they're sick. You babysit when it rains. You babysit when I don't want to babysit. But I never don't want to babysit. Jack begged for kids.
Come on.
You don't know me. I'm like, please let me have one. Right? And when they don't let me have them, I'm starting to mail them letters. I'm smart. I'm serious. I'm sending them the word now. The Lord says, hey, they don't come, start mailing them cards.
Yes.
So I started last night. I started writing cards. Imagine all my grandkids bombarded by cars. The kids are, then my big kids are gonna say, maybe we should take them, huh? Right? Well, think about it. Yeah, if they're not coming, the weather, whatever, so I'm mailing them cars. Imagine what, I can just picture Emmy's face when she gets the car. She's probably gonna pretend she's reading it, knowing her, right? Because she put her little video saying, it's snowing. Because she never seen snow in her life, right? Think about it. Well, these are things that we long for, and now we have them. I value it, and I walk in it, but I had to pay the price for it. And guess what? That title means you could call on me at any hour, at any time. In the middle of the night. When I'm on my way to a date, I might have to drop that date and say, sorry, come on. I gotta take care of these kids. Come on. Why? Right? Think about it. Grand or great. Now it's great. Ooh. Another one's coming. I think it's me. Well, think about this. So there's value and there's power in language. But if you can't guard your mouth or your heart or your thoughts, you got to discipline yourself to take control of what you're thinking. You can't sit there and think crazy. Right? You could think your way into a new car. Yes. You could think your way into a new house.
Yes. Come on. Come on.
I'm telling you.
Amen.
I love what my son said. He said, you could buy a house without a job as long as you can make a payment. I said, that's a good one, son. He goes, no, he goes, I researched it. Because he likes to research. Well, think about it. There's power. So if we're living in heaven, we can speak that language. That's why when some people pray or speak the word, it happens instantly. You're doing the same thing and nothing's happening because you haven't been abiding in that realm. So you're not carrying that language. In other words, si yo te hablo en español y no entienden español, no van a saber que les estoy diciendo. Right? Some of you are like, huh? Because you don't speak Spanish, right? But if I speak that language, then only those that speak it will know what I'm saying, right? And it's another language that abides in me, yes? Yes. Right? That I have to continue in order to keep it up, or I'm going to forget some of the words, right? Same thing with heaven, the language of heaven. I know you think you know it, but if you're not seeing results, all you're telling me is I'm not really abiding there because I'm abiding on Facebook, I'm abiding in everybody's life. I want to know what they're doing. I'm talking to my family, my friends, I'm on the phone, I'm wherever. There's just so much distraction, right? But if we make a decision to fast the world, think about that. Fast the world? Some people have fasted recently all of social media. That's wild. And I said, what? My daughter said, yeah, we're fasting social media. I go, oh, you didn't see my thing on Facebook? She goes, no, Mom, I can't see it because it's on social media. We're fasting. And I said, that's interesting. Who would even think of that? Well, because everybody's on it so much, it's become a habit. Now they got to fast it. I thought we only fasted food. No, not social media is just as bad as food. We're eating it just as much as food. Think about it. Right? It's powerful what's happening here. I'm taking you somewhere. Go to 1 Kings 21. I'm glad we're there. 1 Kings 21. Now we'll start the teaching. 1 Kings 21:23 says this. Verse 23 says, and the Lord said of Jezebel, the dogs shall eat Jezebel by the wall of Jezreel. Any belonging to Ahab who dies in the city, the dogs shall eat, and anyone who dies in the field, the birds of the air shall eat. The word of the Lord said, Jezebel, the dogs shall eat Jezebel. The word of the Lord said what? The dogs shall eat Jezebel. How did Jezebel die? How many of you remember the story? The prophet went, Elijah said, throw her down. She fell, and the dogs ate her. How did this happen? I just read it to you. And the word of the Lord said, Jezebel, the dogs shall eat Jezebel. All he did was send a word. The dogs are going to eat Jezebel. How did she die? The dogs ate her. Who was Jezebel? I just taught you. She was a woman. She was married to Ahab. She's not a demon. She's not a spirit. There is no spirit of Rebekah. Even though my son and sister is. When his girls stacked up, he calls them Rebekah. You're acting like Rebekah. Yes, act like Rebekah. Listen, but we've all been taught, right, that she's spirited. You know. You came to my church, you know. I was married to somebody that called everybody Jezebel. Those Jezebels. And I said, say it to me again. Because Jezebel means purity, virginity. Hates the unclean. So how could she be connected to bad things? But somebody taught us and we believed it and we buy all the books. But look her up. Okay. Think about it. She was the only one that was able to slay all the prophets. She only went after prophets, so she doesn't go after husbands. She only goes after prophetic people and leaders. I researched her. Okay. So she only goes after prophetic people and leaders, right? And she's not a spirit. There is no Jezebel spirit. So then who's behind it all? Baal. So he's masked himself as Jezebel. So while we're casting out Jezebel, he's laughing in the corner because she's not coming out because she doesn't exist. And he's over there doing his thing. But now we found out. So he's really behind all that mess. Right? Okay. So if she's prophetic, how do prophets operate? Say it, Martha. With their mouth. Prophetic people. That's why I never want to get her mad over there. Because then I'll get sick. Yeah, because she's prophetic. And when Cece gets mad, I know. Better watch out. Right? Yeah. But the new Cece is different now. Yes. She don't get mad. This is truth. I'm telling you the truth. Yeah, because when prophetic people get mad, they start talking junk. Oh, they're not gonna this. They're not gonna that. Oh, they'll never marry. Oh, they're gonna stay single. Oh, they're trying to get married again. People said, you're trying to get married. You've already been married 3 times, and you want to go 4. I've only been married once. Shut up. So that's why I said, I'm telling nobody. You'll know at the wedding if I invite you. You get invited. You know you get invited. But listen, yes, because believe it or not, women are catty. And if you're a catty prophet, that's scary. Because I know you're telling me you're not, but I have proof you are, some of you. Right? So if they begin to speak stuff, what happens? It affects you. The only reason I'm not concerned is because I know where I abide and I know where I live and I know where I dwell. So have your way with your words because I'm covered. I live in that heavenly realm. It's not even the blood I'm talking about, guys. It's where I abide, where I live, where I dwell. Right? You'll call me up, you'll know I'm at my house. come in, bang on the door at any hour, it's just me. Whenever, surprise, right? Yeah, because of how I live. Amen?
Amen.
And the closer we get to Him, the less we become.